Hello traders, this is kind of day number one of nano and micro cap stock test day trading. That's a lot to say. So what are nano and micro cap stocks and why are we trading them? Well, one of the main reasons is because the small cap screener has just been dead for all of 2022. So let me just turn it on right now. This is my small cap screener. And there just is not a lot of action on here today. LBPS, we were watching at one point this morning. I'm not sure if it triggered an entry. I don't think it did because it needed to get much higher than this price level. So that wouldn't have given us any opportunity. And that's pretty much it. If you look at the rest of this screener, there's not a lot going on. So that's pretty much how it's been all of 2022. So that's why we are switching, at least for now, to nano and micro cap stocks. And we may do that indefinitely if this plan works out, because it seems like there's generally more action, steady action in the nano and micro cap sector. But, you know, I haven't traded it for 100 trades or anything like that. So I'm just kind of guessing based on what I've seen. So this morning we had CELZ that sold off. I'll show you that in just a moment in the video. And let's see, C-Rex was an aftermarket mover, didn't do anything at the open. REVB, that's the one that we traded, and we're actually still in a trade right now. I'm not so sure that I took the best entry, and I'll talk about that. And again, this is why I'm kind of just using the rest of this week as kind of a dry run and trying to figure out what entries that I want to take so that we can start testing. I don't want to start tracking right away, because if these first few trades end up being not valid, then it's just going to mess up our data. So let's take a look at the video right now and we'll see what I'm trading. And the other thing, I don't know if I mentioned, but the nano and micro cap stocks are a much lower market capitalization than the small cap stocks. They're from anywhere from $0 up to $300 million. That's when you combine nano and micro cap stocks. You can go to Investopedia to read more about what those are, but basically they're generally going to be very young companies that are just getting on the market, and they're not very good investment opportunities unless you get lucky and you catch the next Apple, which is extremely unlikely. But as far as day trading goes, they can provide a lot of opportunity. You just have to be extremely careful because they're very volatile. So you must have a plan and you must have trader discipline. If you just jump into these things and hope for the best, it's not going to end well. So let's take a look at the video and see what we were looking at today. So this is right at the market open. Let me fast forward. So there's that CELZ. I was looking at the pre-market high as kind of a level of strength, a level of support. And if it were to make a new high here on this candle, I would have got in, but it never did. It kind of sold off and it broke the low of day. So I think I just got stopped out of that REVB trade, and I'll show you that in just a moment, and what we can do in the future to possibly improve it. Again, it's just one trade, so it doesn't really mean much yet. But so here, just back to this CELZ trade, and also that's the beauty of bracket orders. You see how I didn't have to pay attention to the trade. It just kind of took care of itself. So, and we only lost 20 cents on that trade, so not a big deal at all. Anyway, let's get back to this, and we'll get to the REVB in just a moment. So here we are. I'm marking out this low of day because the way this is setting up, if the price breaks down below that level, I'm going to say that this thing is weak, and I'm going to demand a new high. So I'll show you that in just a moment here. So there you go. So now it's broken out through that level. So that tells me that this thing is weak, and the only way I would ever take an entry on this at this point is if it recovers all of this movement and makes a new high. Then after that new high, after a pullback, then I would take an entry, but that didn't happen. So we never took an entry on there. There's that LBPS. Yeah, so see, this thing needed to get over $11. That was the pre-market high before we could take an entry. Obviously never did that. ALLG. These are off the small cap screener. So at the open, this was the only nano and micro cap. So I was also looking at the small cap screener, and kind of whichever one was going to give me an opportunity first, I was going to take today. But again, once we commit to these nano micro caps, I won't be doing that. I'll just be looking at those. All right, so we've got NRSN. That was looking good, but it never broke out over its pre-market high, at least not while I was watching it. I don't think it has since then either. And let's see, so here's REVB. So this one was interesting because I didn't catch it on the screener until this point, and I'm not sure how long it was on the screener. And one thing that's happened over the past few months is because the small cap market is so slow, I've gotten a little bit relaxed about watching the screener. When there used to be a lot of energy in the small cap market, I just had my eyes on it like an eagle until something popped up, and then, then I was focused on the trade. So I'm not sure if I would have caught this thing sooner. And if I would have, I definitely would have taken an entry earlier, and I definitely would have gotten a 3R trade, and I can show you that on the chart. But instead, I took a later entry, and I'll show you the result of that as well. So let's just look at the entry right now, just so you can see kind of everything kind of happening live here. So what I'm waiting for, so this is a pullback candle, right? This red candle. I'm waiting for a 1 minute candle to make a new high. And, it'd be nice if it was a couple of red candles, but that's not always the case. Sometimes you just get one pullback and then the thing just skyrockets. And that's pretty much what happened here. We got very, very close to winning this trade. And again, I'll show you all of that in detail. So, this may be kind of like a technical loser, but a potential winner for the strategy. But again, let's just watch the entry here, and then I'll explain everything. So I'm looking for 230 or better. So there we go. I saw around 230, and I got in. And let's see. Yeah, one thing that looked weird was where my stop was placed, because it should go 10% below where my entry is, which that may have been the case. I'm just not used to trading stocks this cheap, so I may have to adjust the stop loss, because you see the range of these candles. This was a very dangerous place to have the stop loss, because I could have gotten stopped out by accident initially. So let me just look at this really quick, because I didn't yet. So we're at, let's see, 228. So basically 10% should be like 22 cents. So it doesn't look, this is only like 10 cents down. So I'll have to check my hotkey settings and see what's going on there. It could be, again, because we're trading stuff below $5, and the way the price works out is completely different. So I'll just have to play with that. Again, that's why this week, the rest of the week, we're just doing a dry run. So you can see this thing shooting up. Again, I was trying to get my stop loss in place as quickly as possible, because that's the most important thing. You never know how quickly these things are going to turn, reverse, and flush down on you. So you want to get that in place. Now, here's something we're doing very differently from the small cap plan. Is we are not very differently, but we're going for a 3 times our risk profit target. We learned from the small cap test that 3 times our risk is the better profit target. We would be much more profitable if we would have done that from the beginning of the small cap plan. And if we ever start trading that full position size, that's what we'll be doing. So here I'm going to pull it up on the full chart. So that's what I'm expecting these nano and micro cap stocks to give me, is 3R or better. And if they don't, then I'm happy to take the stop loss and lose minus 1R on the trade. So anyway, let's go forward and see what happens with this thing. So watch this thing kind of rocket up. So there's my 3R profit target. It's at 289. I didn't show you that in real time. I should have. So it's at 249 right now. My 3R profit target is hovering up here at 289. And I'm just checking the other profit targets. So it did hit our 2R profit target very easily. That's at 269, and I'm also checking 4R. We're going to track all of that stuff once we start tracking these trades, and we're going to figure out over 100 trades which is the most profitable profit target with these nano cap and small cap stocks. So now all we do is wait. We've got the order out, and we just let the trade play out. Now watch what happens here, 278. Remember, we're at 289. So yeah, this is a really kind of a dangerous place for a new trader to be, because you're going to be tempted to pull that profit target down. And remember, we want 3R or nothing, 3R or bust. Otherwise, we're going to screw up all of our data and our statistics. If we hold till 3R, that means that our break-even win rate is 25%. Anything over 25% will be profitable. So you could have a win rate of 30% and be an extremely profitable trader with a 3R profit target. So that's very appealing. And it should be very possible with these nano micro cap stocks, because they're very volatile. They move a lot in a short amount of time. So you can see there, this thing went to just 1 cent below our profit target, never hit it, which is unfortunate, but that's going to happen. The most important thing to do in this moment is to just maintain trader discipline. Do not mess with your orders. You have planned the trade already. You know where your risk is and where your stop loss is and all that kind of stuff, and you just let it go. And that's exactly what I did. And you'll see that by the end of this video, the trade was still playing out. And also, this is another important thing, is you have to decide where you think the stock has gotten weak, because if this thing stopped me out before 10:30, which it didn't, I could take up to 3 more trades in this plan. But in this scenario, I would not have been able to do that, because you can see that I decided that this is where there should be support, and if there isn't, then that's it. And then the stock is weak and I don't want any part of it. And the reason why is because you can see how this volume ramped up, right? So this was the first time that there was major volume in the stock. And after the pullback, a bunch of people bought it up and caused that push higher. So if there aren't a bunch of people to buy it again there, then I'm no longer interested in this stock. So that's why if this thing stopped me out here, I was going to stop trading even if it was before 10:30. So let's see what happened here. So it started to push higher once again after coming down very close to my stop, and then just kind of went sideways. Let's just fast forward here. It's raining outside, so you might be hearing that. So that's pretty much where the video ends. Now I'm going to show you the chart live and show you some other entries that I could have taken had I caught this thing earlier. So let's go to the charts page. So here's where we got stopped out, and you can see what happened after it fell below that line. It had a little pullback on the way down and it's going lower. So today this worked out. Doesn't always where I think the stock is weak, it does continue to sell off. Can this thing turn around at some point in the day? Absolutely. Who knows? But you have to kind of have a plan and just stick to it, and don't hope and don't jump back in and see what happens. That kind of thing is a disaster waiting to happen. So let's talk about some other entries that I could have taken that would have worked on this thing. So here is the previous session high. It's from the pre-market, and you can see it's higher than anything it did yesterday. This thing just barely traded yesterday at all. And that's one thing that I like about it too, is that there's volume coming in out of nowhere. That's one of the reasons that I was looking at it. And you can see here, after it broke out through that pre-market high, it gave a pullback here, and there's one entry as soon as a 1 minute candle makes a new high here, and that would have been an easy 3R trade. We can calculate it. So here the high is 188. So 189, and we'll say the low of this candle, I believe, is where the stop loss would be, just below that. So 189, and the stop loss would be at 180. So we would need 27 cents. So let's see. So basically 227 minus 11, 216, if my math is right here, which would have happened, I think, around here. Right here on this candle. So that would have been a 3R trade. Did I do that right? Yeah, that was a 3R trade, not a 2R trade. So right there, that entry would have worked. We would have been one and done on the day, and that's it. Also, if I would have, say, missed that entry, the second high of day is right here, and I could have gotten in on this pullback, and it looks like it would have been kind of a similar trade, because I think we would have gotten triggered here. Let's see, the high is 194. So yeah, let's say we would get in at 195, and the low of this candle is 188, so 187. So almost an identical trade to this one. It's an 8-cent risk instead of a 9-cent risk. So 3 cents less reward, I guess, on that one. So anyway, that's kind of what we're going to be working on for the rest of the week, is trying to decide where the entry should be. Again, I mean, I kind of hate to criticize this entry too much, because it did come to 1 cent of our profit target. But maybe if I was keeping a better eye on the screener, I might have caught this thing sooner. So I think that's what I'm going to focus on moving forward for the rest of the week, is just be glued to the screener until I find something that's moving like this was. And then maybe I'll probably, for the rest of this week, continue to allow the entry after the third high, which is what this was, right? So here's our first high of day, second high of day, and then this was the third high of day. You don't know if it's the high of day until you have a pullback afterwards. And that was the entry we took, and that was the one that came within 1 cent of our profit target. So anyway, that's it for today's video. Hopefully you found it helpful. If you're looking forward to more of this nano and microcap stock trading, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. These are much more exciting trades than what we've been seeing with a small cap plan for the year so far. So anyway, hopefully this continues, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. As always, go into every single trade with a plan. Stick to that plan no matter what. Always take your stop losses, honor your profit targets, and in the long run, you should be green. Take care.